Let's add a little excitement to this chapter of our color story. Hi, I'm Katie Hacker, and today Kristal Wick and Cynthia Kimura are here to jumpstart your creativity with colorful bead blends. Hi, Kristal. Hi, Cynthia.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thanks
so
for
great to have you here.
Oh, so happy to be here.
Yeah, we're having a little party here at Baubles Jewels today.
We do.
Girls, beads, crystals, we're here.
That's right. Great combination, just like what we're talking about with color.
Yay.
Yeah, let's take a look at your necklace, Kristal. This is so pretty.
This is so fun. Now, I used a mixed impression jasper pendant for my focal, and all of these are the same pendant, same technique, but they look completely different.
Right.
Because of the color combinations.
Right, it can really change your whole look.
That. Yeah, exactly.
And I love the way that you drew out a color from the beads. So you pick one kind of your
favorite.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing too is they come on strands, and so I always figure, well, I need to make one for my mom and one for my sister and one for my best friend, right? And so if you
don't
pick,
forget me.
Don't forget you. One for Cynthia. And if you pick them out, you pick out what color is their favorite, and then you focus the whole color palette around just that color in the bead.
Yeah, and then you have these blends that come with pearls,
Oh,
crystals,
designer
seed
blends.
beads.
We have seed bead blends, pearl blends, and crystal blends. So what I like to do is take a triple strand, because more is better in my book.
That's right.
And so I take a triple strand, and I actually start with all three strands being the same length.
Okay.
Very easy, out of the beading wire here. And then this piece, I used crystals and seed beads and pearls.
Okay.
And I
so
did it
instead of
random.
keeping it one per strand, one style per strand.
Right, because you can do it that way. But this one I wanted to see what it would be like if you did it kind of the messy look and you did it random.
Mix it all up.
Mix it up. Yeah, so let's show them how to finish this guy, because it's so easy. So I'm going to have you pick this guy up.
Okay.
And again, I added my seed beads, and it's all seed beads. Again, mixture.
So I'm just going to pick up a few
Pick up a couple.
beads here.
And I love using the bead stoppers on the ends while you're doing this process, because
it helps you design while you're working.
well, they don't end up on the floor in your vacuum cleaner. Not that that's ever happened more than once, right?
So and multi-strand pieces are always a little bit of a challenge to figure out how to end it.
Yes.
And I noticed that you're using cones. I think that's a great way to finish.
Because it hides any of the messiness. Again, it's all about looking professional at the end. So yeah, the really fun part is that you just do a little crimp here with a tiny loop at the top. Very small.
Okay, so
it's really easy.
Just bring your wire back
bring
through
it right back through a couple
of beads.
Pull it, and you just do a little tiny loop. And as you can see, I did that with these already ahead of time. But here's how I was showing you, also showing how to do a nice little tight crimp with that little tiny loop. Most people are not used to making them that small.
Right, so we'll do the outer jaws of the pliers and then the inner. So just make our crease there and then fold it in half.
A little baby taco.
That's it. Looks good.
Look at that. Yes, and then we'll trim off the end, because the excess we don't want showing.
Okay.
And then look, we have our the three strands right here together, and they're all the same length.
Perfect.
And that's kind of important. So now we take a little eye pin. I'm going to have you do an eye pin, and you put the ends of each strand on the little guy right there.
And sometimes cones can be a little bit confusing because people aren't quite sure how to finish it on the inside, because you can't see that part.
Well, and we get a lot of comments all the time, especially about how it looks so professional and looks so finished at the end. I can't figure out how to do it. So I thought we would show everybody that it really is this easy, and it looks messy. It's not going to look good until you slide that cone on.
So hand me the chain nose pliers.
And all you're doing here is just closing up your little loop here on your eye pin.
Okay.
Piece of cake, right?
You want to bring it through
Slide a cone on, and then I like to put a crystal or some kind of pretty bead that matches them.
Really nice.
Kind of pulls it together, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I really enjoy that. And then you can do a nice wrap loop, or you can do a simple loop, whatever. I love watching Katie do wrap loops because she's really good at it.
You know what? You make a million of these things, you turn into a pro.
I think I'm only up to a couple hundred because I am definitely not a pro.
Okay, so are we going to attach our clasp on here? Oh no, it's an S. So
look at that.
Fasten it, right?
Yeah.
So just wrap it.
Go ahead just do your little wrappy.
But if you're adding a toggle here, then you could go ahead.
Yeah, because you can use all kinds of different toggles, and there are many large ones, small ones. But you know, one of the things I love about this S toggle, I use it all the time. Why? Because you can add 5 of them if you need it to be longer.
Oh, sure.
Or you can
go
add
multiple
1.
strands.
Yes.
Right.
See, this is
just
really
make sure
great.
your loop is big enough that it fits onto your clasp.
And then pinch the little guy shut.
This one?
Yeah.
I didn't trim my end here. Gotta finish my job.
Yeah. Well, you know, we try to fit it all in, but
there we go.
Yeah, and that's how you finish your end.
Okay, great.
Isn't that really nice?
Yes, that looks good.
So then we'll move on to what we do with the stone. And now the stone, again, you're just going to use a head pin, And you're going to make a loop at the top.
Here's our headband,
Very
so we'll
easy.
just make a
Slide it in,
bend.
and you just make a little
And then
a loop. Yep.
do you want a giant one?
I like giant.
All right. Let's start it up here.
Especially so
easier,
everybody
right.
can see it. Yes.
There we go.
Now look at, and that's
All right,
very
so
easy, right?
basic.
And then all we're going to do this. I love the pinch bails.
Yeah.
A lot of folks don't know what to do with a pinch bail. So now we're just going to take the pinch bail, and the pinch bail covers the loop, which is why you can make a nice big one and not worry
Right.
about it. And you'll put that on, and then you will slide your triple strand
inside.
inside here
There we go.
and pinch it.
All right.
That's why they call it
Close
the
it up.
pinch bail, right?
And what
Yes.
is great
I'm not-
is
I'm not very good with my left hand.
yeah, what is great with those pinch
right
bail
here.
too, they're pretty big, so you can put so many strands of
Right.
necklace
Yeah, you
in
can
them.
actually do 12 strands if you want. You could do, yeah. I
So
love
many
that part.
strands, too.
And again,
Sorry.
the thing, well, and I know they say
Let me
pinch
squeeze
bail,
it. I have it
but the
holding
thing is, what I actually use it pliers.
You do?
I do. Well,
Oh,
they
you
say pinch.
cheater.
Well, they didn't
Okay, I'll
say
let you
finger
do it.
pinch. They said plier pinch. Okay. So then all you're going to do is just make sure, yeah, you want to get that little guy in there and then pinch it closed. And just make sure
Okay,
that they touch. There we go.
Perfect.
So you can use the pliers.
That looks good.
And then here we have this. And look at this, you guys, it's done. Piece
Yeah.
of cake, it's absolutely done. And so what's really fun about this, again, it's the same stone, the same technique, and we're gonna take a peek over here at some of these colorways.
Okay, let me move this out of your way.
Sure. Because what I like to do, I call it auditioning, and I like to put a lot of colors together. Now, many people don't. They like to be more monochromatic, and any way works, but it's just your taste. So I use our CB blends and crystals and pearls. And so, for example, this guy here, same stone, put it here. Now look at these. See how pretty that would look? And that would pull out the subtleties of the purples and of the greens. But then you put that one in here, and I know you are all saying, wait, that doesn't go. But then do a little twisty twist. And again, you would want to finish this first before you do it. Check that out.
Yeah.
You
It
see,
gives it a totally
so it's
different look.
totally different look, and it's just a bit of a pop of that bright green that comes from the CB blend.
Right.
The same thing over here. I used 3 different blends over here, and it's kind of the same. You could go with just one, because look how pretty that looks. You could do just one. And again, audition, try it out. But you can see how this pulls out your oranges and your greens.
Right, and really use it as a Kickstarter for your color palette.
Exactly.
For sure.
But then pull some more in, and there you have it. Now we have this, which is, of course, the more neutral tones. And now look at what happens to that same piece
It
with
kind
the
of,
neutral.
Right, it brings it down, kind of tones
Yeah.
it down a little bit, right?
Yeah, and there are those people too. I am not one of them, but I know they're out there. So we got
Let's take
this.
a look at your necklaces
Yeah,
here
look at
because
this.
you can really see the difference here too, and not when you braided together.
Same technique, same everything, different colors, and I braided it. I love a multi-strand braid. I don't know, something about it makes it look really rich and
Right.
full,
Yeah,
and
it
it's easy,
does.
anybody can do it. Then this is very, very simple. One designer blend, that's it, and made the whole thing. And that's for people that like a little more delicate.
Right, but bright colors too.
And then these guys, I love those pieces. Again, it's a more neutral palette, but I added the little spacers, and I love that little touch of metal.
That's right. Well, it really helps define the design when you bring a little bit of metal in there, don't you think? It just kind of, it really helps everything pop and
Yeah,
kind of
and
go
it
together.
pulls it all
That's right,
out,
especially
so-
when you have your pinch bail too there in the
Yeah.
middle. It kind of draws it all
Pulls
together.
it all. Yeah, so don't be afraid
looks
to,
great.
again, add pearls, crystals, but also add some metal.
Yeah, definitely. Well, these are some great ideas. Thanks, Kristal.
Thanks, Katie.
And Cynthia, you have ideas for how to mix the colors together too.
Yes, Kristal and I have to say, we love those blends.
Yes.
Because you can do so many things with
Right.
it. So my project was a memory wire bracelet. So let me show you how to do this and put my glasses on.
Okay, sounds good.
So first I have here, I'm showing you the finished project. So it's a button in the middle, and I embellish here with some charms and some little dangle.
That looks great.
And I already did 4 strands here. So you just cut your wire, and don't forget to use your memory wire cutter.
Right. You always
Because-
want to use the
Good
memory wire
tip.
cutter.
Yes,
Definitely.
you really don't want to
I
damage
think you
your
only
other
learned that
cutters.
once.
That's
You
right.
ruined your pliers, so.
That's true. So let me check where is the beginning of the wire. It tends to tangle a lot too. And of course, it's really tangled.
And what you do,
There
you're just
it
cutting
is.
4 the same size, right?
Yeah, so you have to
So
be
easy.
careful that they are, that everything is
Just that you get
out.
one loop.
There we go.
Well, the great thing about memory wire too is that it is always the same size. You know, it's one
Yeah.
size, one size loop.
So
I like it.
you just cut your wire. And then I have this memory wire pliers too, which is really great because you don't want to use your normal plier. You can damage them, and you just make a loop. And those are great to just grab the wire because it is a really strong wire. So you really want to make a nice loop.
You build up your muscles doing this project.
That's right. Yeah, stainless steel wire.
Well, this one I did a little big. And what I like to do, if it's big like that and it's a little crooked, you can bend it a little. And you can see here there is too much of a gap because I'm using some little beads. So I like to also close it.
So make sure that it's closed all the way.
Yes, so you put pressure and you just close it like that.
I've had that happen before where the beads slide onto your loop.
Yes.
So you just want to make sure that it's closed all the way.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is how you do with the wire. And here I have a very fancy bead stopper, right?
Yeah, I like your style, Cynthia.
She does like color.
I know, I see that.
So I already put my button in the middle, and I'm just gonna add some bead. And I think a couple will be enough. And you need a little space. I think that's too much space, so I can add some more. And then I'm just gonna make a loop at the end of this one too.
Okay.
With the same plier. And put pressure on it. Don't hesitate to really put pressure and put the pressure on your finger too.
Okay.
Like that. And you see it's open, so I want to really close this down like that. So now we need to put them together. And I have my 4th strand. Remember to put the button in the middle, right? And you want to finish first the end. So I like to stack them, make sure they're all in order here.
To me, this is like the tricky part.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I love bringing it all together at the end.
Everything move and they all want to jump.
And it's memory wire.
Yeah.
It remembers what it used to be like.
It wants to go back.
Exactly. Okay, yes, the button is in the middle. So I have here, I made a head pin, an eye pin with an 18 gauge. So I start to put a bead on. This teeny bead is so small. And then you put one strand. Then you put another bead.
So they're like little spacers between
yes,
each. Nice.
Yes. And that helps the bracelet to have a good shape. And I'm putting another bead.
And then it makes it a cuff too when you're finished, right?
Yeah.
And it can be tricky after a while. So what I like to do is just put like that.
Oh, that's a
and
good
put
idea.
my bead on top of it.
Easier.
Sliding up.
Good thinking.
This one is stuck.
And you could also
Let's
do as
see.
many rounds as you wanted, right? So you're doing a 4-strand,
Yes.
but,
Yeah,
you
or
could
5-strand.
make fewer,
But
or you could make a whole stack.
I love that idea.
I love to make big ones, like 12 strands, 50 strands.
Yeah.
Those are great.
That's a weekend project right there.
And a lot of beads.
That's right.
And a lot of beads. But they're fun. When you have so many colors like that, you can play with the colors. So here I'm adding the last bead. You need the last bead at the end.
Okay.
And I like to put pressure like that on the table. You
Oh, that's a
bend
great tip.
and you want to cut your wire to do a loop. And like I said, it's a little tricky because it's a memory wire and it wants to bounce and it wants to move. And then I'm making my loop here. And don't worry if your loop doesn't look great because you won't really see it after you put the dangle on.
Okay.
Okay, so this one is not perfect, but
That's
I
okay.
can show
You're gonna
you.
add your
That's good
dangles.
enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
looks good.
So here I have one that is done. I did the two sides.
Oh,
here.
perfect.
But you see how the bracelet doesn't stay? So now I need to wrap every single one together, every single strand together. So I have some 26 gauge wire. So it's pretty soft. And you want a very soft wire to just wrap everything together. And first you make a band like that. And I'm going to start close to the end. And you bring your wire inside. And you have your band here, right? And you go close to a bead
Okay, so you,
in between.
oh, so it's
between
hidden
two
in
beads.
between there.
Yes.
Now, if you wanted it to stand out, you could use another color.
that'd be
Exactly, that would be
cool.
really
Yeah.
great too.
Like a neon or something?
Something
Yes.
fun, yeah.
That's true.
I like the idea of hiding it too, though, because then no one will know how you did it.
Yes, and with the silver between those beads, you don't see
see it.
anything. So now
So you're kind of using it as a thread to stitch it all together.
It
Yeah, 'cause
is.
you're weaving kind of,
Yeah, a
aren't
little
you?
bit.
Yes, exactly. So I did some wrap here at the beginning. I'm going behind the strand, and I'm bringing to the next bead.
Oh.
And I go back inside,
All right.
and I just do like that, tied it.
Cool, yeah.
Just one time is enough, and then I go back the other one, go back inside, and I tied the loop.
Looks good.
Yeah. And once in a while, your wire is going to be wrapping, so you want to straight it up with your finger. And then do the other one. So it's pretty fast. It's not a very complicated project.
Yeah. And it looks like
It
you just
looks
used
complicated,
random
though. Yeah,
beads too,
it
right? Didn't you
does.
just string the beads on randomly? Like you don't even have a pattern going.
Yes. Well, it's randomly, but like with this organized mess.
Organized chaos.
I like it.
I don't like when there are too many beads the same color one after the other. So
you are a little careful.
I do. I'm careful of what I'm choosing for
Right.
the colors. Okay, so this is the last one, and for the last one, I do maybe a couple times, like that, and then you can squeeze. It's a wire, so you can squeeze. You can make it tighter.
Good.
And I'm gonna cut here.
And then you'll do that at several places around the bracelet,
Yes,
right?
you can do one behind the button, and you can do on the other side of the bracelet. And here you have a wire sticking out, so you just want to take your chain or plier and just press it down.
That's
then
great.
it will be wrapped like that. So now the fun part.
It's all fun.
It is fun.
fun.
But I like to embellish too, the end, because
definitely.
I wanted to hide the loop. So I made those little dangle made
so
out of
cute.
pearls on there, and they match the colors of the seed bead. And here I added also a little bird.
That looks great. Well, let's take a look at your other samples too, because I think that this whole idea is amazing. And then look at all the different things that you can do with it.
Yes.
There are so many different ways.
So on this one I did a 4-strand. This is one that I did a 3-strand, so you can go smaller. And I added a little charm also.
That's cute too.
And you can do with, we have some crystal blend. And on this one I did color blocks. So I did a pattern because I really wanted to show the colors,
Sure.
different colors.
That's really trendy right now too.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah.
The color blocks.
Yeah, it always is.
This blend I really love. It looks like for wedding.
Well,
I
yes, it
thought
does.
You can make your own wedding jewelry. And on this one I added some pearl, but also some matte onyx gemstone.
That looks
That's
great.
really cute.
Gorgeous.
My favorite is this one there. It's really big. I like big bracelets.
great.
And I added the charm in the middle. And I think it would be fun also if you had charms all over
That would be
the
great.
bracelet.
Look at that.
too.
Yeah, because look at that. What a great design
Yeah.
idea.
And you just use
Yeah.
a jump ring to attach
I
it
love
to
that.
one
Yes,
of your
that's
loops.
it. And I did that at the end. So you can really
Right,
play,
right.
you know,
So-
see where you want to put your charms.
Yeah, and think about maybe as you're making your colors, then what kind of charms are going to be perfect for your
Yes.
design or meaningful for you. And I like how you mixed in a lot of stones with this middle one here too. The blue one is really pretty
Yes,
too.
and don't be scared to mix different shape of stone. This is a square stone instead of a round stone. And then even the spacers that I put in there, it's not just a plain spacer, it's kind of have a little shape in it.
Right, it has a little dot on the surface of the cubes. Those are
Yes.
some of my favorites. I really like those too.
Great texture. It adds a whole other level of texture to your piece.
Yeah, it sure
Yes.
does, because you're bringing in all the different surfaces of the beads
Right.
into the texture of the piece.
And it's
Yeah.
bumping out, so it's not, consistent with
Right.
each round.
So we've got some stone, we have some
Right.
glass, we have some crystal, we have some
Pearls.
metal, and
I think
pearls.
everything is in that one. That's
right.
my favorite.
It's blue, that's why.
That's right. Yeah, and this stack here is a really good example of how you can really change it up by mixing the different
Yes.
things all together.
Yes, and that was leftovers of everything I did, and I couldn't mix with the other one, so I thought, hey, I can make several bracelets with the leftovers too.
Yeah, you sure could. This is great.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. These are some great ideas and great ways to kickstart our color ideas and inspiration.